All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we're making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
Get ready. This summer, the Arena League Sports is on ASAP Network. Tune in live on either the Tiki Live or Roku app, as well as your smart home TV.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? What's going on? What's happening? This is another episode of Speaking with Judgment, hosted by your boy, Johnathan Mathis, and I got a special guest with me today. I got my good friend here with me, Samuel Shaw. Man, hey, it's good to have you on, man. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, man.
Hey, we got a good show coming for you guys. I know this show's going to be awesome. It's going to be off the chains tonight because we got a lot to talk about. We got to get into the NBA. We're going to dive into that. We're going to talk about all these play-in games. Hey, Big Shaw, the Clippers, man, they choked again. We got to talk about that. We got to talk about these Minnesota Timberwolves showing up on the big stage and Patrick Beverley making a scene. We got to get into that. We got to talk about the New Orleans Pelicans and CJ McCollum and the effect that he has had on that team since he's gotten traded there. And we got to dive into some baseball too, man, because we can't leave the baseball fans hanging. We got to talk about Vladdy too and that 3-run homers last night, man. That was spectacular. That was some great stuff. And of course, we got to get into my boy Clayton Kershaw, man. Did Dave Roberts do the right thing by protecting his pitcher and pulling him out? Was the perfecto more important or not? We'll talk about that. But first, man, I'm gonna let you have the floor. Tell everybody what's up.
Oh, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Big Sean, man. I am excited to be on the ASP network again. Great guys. They doing everything. I'm proud of them, man. But I'm glad to be on the show.
Man, hey, like I said, it's a pleasure to have you on. So, hey, we gonna get right into it. We don't want to waste too many people's time here. We gonna get right into it. We're gonna talk about the Clippers first, since I live in Southern California. You know, and since the Lakers are chilling on vacation right now, the Clippers are still in the spotlight once again. In the month of April, we're now approaching the playoffs, and it's Clipper Nation once again. And you got all these Clipper fans out here making noise, but the Clippers, man, they choke like they did last year. To me, they performed another choke job. I know Paul George is trying to do his thing. He's trying to do everything he can to lead that team to victory. But they got another shot. They still got another shot. But when you watched that game the other night, the better team showed up. And they played some fundamental basketball. They played team basketball collectively. And the Minnesota Timberwolves, they showed up on a big stage. I like what I saw from Minnesota. I like what I saw from Anthony Edwards. Now, it's his second year in the NBA. We all know how great of a shooter he is. He could really light it up, and he did. He lit it up from the floor. But what else? Another area he has improved in is his passing. And if he's going to be this all-around player, he's going to be the player that Karl Anthony Towns should have been. He's going to be that vocal leader, that voice in the locker room, you know, that team leader. And he has definitely matured, and he has taken his game to the next level. I like what I'm seeing from Edwards. And then, of course, D'Angelo Russell, the former Laker. You know, I know a lot of Laker fans are not feeling him after what he did, you know, with the snitch video, the snitch recording and everything. Get past that. That's in the past. This guy has matured. He has, you know, played huge in the big moments, and you know, you gotta respect what the man has done. You know, so I like this Minnesota Timberwolves team, man. I wonder if they could sustain this and they could continue to play at such a high level. But what we saw the other night from Minnesota, it was very impressive.
Yeah. You froze up right there, but I'm gonna take off where you started. I like Minnesota. I like what Patrick Beverly did. I thought they won the championship the way he was acting. But he's my guy, man. I like Minnesota. I like what they got going on there, man. But on the Clippers, they choked again. I don't I don't like the Clippers fans. I don't like the Lakers fans. So it's gonna be a little heated. But I'll tell you what though, if the Clippers can find a way to get over the hump, I think they play the Pelicans, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes.
that's gonna be a game. That's gonna be a game to see.
Absolutely.
But the Clippers better get it together because the Pelicans can play, man. The Pelicans can play. But that's all I'm gonna say about that, man. Watch out for the Pelicans, man.
Yeah, watch out for the Pelicans, and you ain't lying about the Pelicans, man, because we're gonna get into them in a minute. But
Mhm.
you know the Clippers, man, they're gonna have to play a lot better in
They
this
gotta do something.
upcoming game. And
Mhm.
you know another player that has to play a lot better too if Minnesota's gonna go deep and if Minnesota's gonna continue this run of theirs, Carl Anthony Towns is gonna have to step it up. You
He
know,
bet.
you know he stinks it up on defense. He's not that cerebral type of player. You know, I feel like he's a great offensive player, but you know he had a terrible performance the other night. I mean it was a very abysmal, you know, his
Yeah.
performance the other night, and he didn't show up. He finished the game with I believe it was 11 points on 3 for 11 shooting with 5 rebounds and 4 turnovers. And that's another thing. He's going to have to, you know, limit the amount of turnovers. I mean, he makes some of the stupidest decisions on the basketball court. You got to stop. You got to stop committing these stupid fouls. That's another thing. He commits these stupid fouls, get himself in foul trouble. Then next thing you know, he's sitting on the bench. He can't play. He can't help his team because he's not out there on the floor. I think he needs to discipline himself a little bit better, and he needs to focus more on the defensive end of the floor. If he can be that defensive presence, particularly inside the paint, the Timberwolves could be a dangerous team because we all see what they have around him. They have the quality shooters. They have the guys knocking down shots. They just need Towns to be that player what they expected him to be when they drafted him. The whole goal for the Minnesota Timberwolves was to build around him. But I will say this, though. The Minnesota Timberwolves, they've come a long way because this team was down in the dumps for many years. This team was an inferior team. And now they're finally, you know, now they're finally relevant again. They're making noise. They're back in the NBA playoff scene, and it's good for Minnesota and those fans. But let's move on. Let's not spend too much time talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves because I know it's a beautiful story. It's a great story. But we got to yeah, it is, and we got to move on to these Pelicans now because look, man. San Antonio, and this is not a knock on San Antonio because San Antonio is young and they're on their way again. And we all know how well coached they are. They got shooters over there. But the Pelicans, man, they turned it around after that midseason trade. That midseason trade, when they acquired CJ McCollum from the Portland Trailblazers, that has really turned around their fortunes. It has reversed their fortunes, and it has put them in the playoff picture, and now they're looking to make a run. And like you said moments ago, don't sleep on what the Pelicans can do.
Don't
This
sleep.
is the start of something special for sure. You know, you could feel the energy in that city. I mean, you just can feel the excitement. It's all about basketball right now. There's a lot of talent on that team. Everyone knows their role, apparently. Everyone's playing at a high level. And I feel like the only thing that was missing for New Orleans was that veteran presence. And CJ McCollum has provided that presence. He has provided that spark that they needed. And now the city is buzzing about him and how he has, you know, turned things around for this team. I think he, you know, brings that credibility to the locker room. I think he's the guy that provides that stability and that, is that one player that can be that vocal leader in the locker room. And, a lot of people don't realize this, Big Shaw. A veteran means a lot to a locker room. You can't get anywhere in any professional sport without veterans in the locker room. You can't just have a bunch of young players. And McCollum, we saw it last night. He finished with a game high 32 points. I was on the chair. I couldn't leave at all. I couldn't move from the chair because even when they did open up a nice lead, the lead kind of ballooned to like I think it was about 13-point advantage for New Orleans. And then all of a sudden the Spurs started to, show fight and show some life. And they got back into the game. And I said, oh, I better not leave because this is all of a sudden this game.
Don't leave.
What's up?
Oh, don't leave. That was a good game.
Yeah. No, there was no way I was going to leave that game. But McCollum, man, he got off to a fast start against the Spurs. He scored. He went into halftime with 27 points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then he had 19 alone in the second quarter when he was perfect. When he was a perfect 7 of 7 from the field. So it was just another one of those outstanding nights for CJ McCollum. And then, Willie Green has done a good job, pointing this team in the right direction as well. He's been a terrific coach, and I think those players have bought into what he preaches. I think those players, are going all in for him. They're playing hard for him, and it's just good for the Pelicans and for this city. And what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, the city of New Orleans, they're pumped up for this. I know when C.J. McCollum, when he got traded to New Orleans, I was in Portland as well when this happened, and the buzz around Portland was like, hey, who's getting traded? We knew somebody was going to get traded. I was like, it's not going to be Damian Lillard, and it wasn't going to be him. So when I heard it was C.J. McCollum going to New Orleans, I said that's what they need right there. Only if they had Zion Williamson, think if he was there, and you got Ingram, boy, it'd be a nasty team. But I love C.J. McCollum in New Orleans. He's doing a great job there. He's playing out of his mind. I think that's what he needed. If you ask me, I think he needed a fresh start. He's coming into New Orleans. He gave his team life. He gave the city of New Orleans life and gave them something to believe in. I'm going for the Pelicans to beat the Clippers and get into the playoffs. So like I said, the fans is ready. I'm pumped up. I couldn't go to bed. I was up all night watching that game. I was like, man, look at C.J. McCollum and Ingram. He's my favorite player on New Orleans. But if he can continue to do what he's doing right now, playing, getting everybody involved, you got to watch out for the Pelicans against the Clippers. But I want to talk about PG-13 right quick. I was talking to somebody today, at work. I said, man, PG-13, he's not the same player. I said, listen, you can't count him out neither. I said, because when he's hot and he's out of control. That's why I'm saying it's going to be a real good game. CJ McCollum and PG-13 is going to be a great game. Watch it. I don't know if they're playing in LA or what, but the city of New Orleans is ready for this game. They need something to get them back on their feet. So I hope this game goes the Pelicans' favor and CJ McCollum goes off. I hope he snaps and have a great game.
Yeah, I'm hoping too. And I have high hopes for the New Orleans Pelicans.
Mm-hmm.
And, this is a team, if we remember correctly, this is a team that started the season 1-12.
They was horrible.
They were horrible. And I mean, they took a 180-degree turn.
Yeah,
and
they quick.
Made a drastic turnaround to get to where they are right now. And look at them now. They're posed a threat, at least in the early rounds of the NBA playoffs. And it's just amazing to see what one player can do. And that just shows you that one player can change the whole dynamic of an offense, defense, of an entire team when you really look at the big picture. So, I mean, it's been amazing what the Pelicans have done. And now we will move on to another team that I think is going to surprise a lot of people. And this might sound silly to you, but I got the Hawks, man. I got the Hawks upset.
Oh, man. No. Oh,
I go wrong with the Hawks because look, the Hawks are a better team than advertised. Look at all the pieces they have around Trae Young. And Trae Young, he didn't get off to a hot start. He really struggled in the first half. You know, he had trouble finding himself in that first half and scoring points. He was even missing floaters. One of his primary weapons is knocking down those floaters, and he couldn't get anything to fall. But it was his teammates who were picking him up offensively, and I mean they got off to an explosive start. They set the tone early offensively. The only area where the Hawks have been a liability, I think, is their defense. But once again, the Hawks remind us of the damage they can do and what they can be, you know. And if this version show up, you know, in the playoffs, watch out. You know, Miami, they better watch out. They better not sleep on this Hawks team because this Hawks team certainly isn't sleeping. And I mean, you know, I know they played against a Charlotte team that can't seem to get a play-in win because this is the second year they've been bounced out of the play-in tournament. But I mean, hey, you know, sometimes good teams turn it on at the right time. And you know, if you're tested and you're up for the talent, the challenge, hey, then you know, you got a chance just like everybody else to really be a dangerous team against anyone. So what are your thoughts? What do you think about the Atlanta Hawks? I like them. I like Trae Young. I'm not going to bet against Trae Young.
Well, I know you can't bet against Trae Young. You know when he's hot, he's hot. You know, he catches fire. He's a bad man. I know he's great. But Miami, they're gonna send Atlanta packing. Jimmy Butler, I'm not much of a fan of Jimmy Butler, but I like Miami. You know, I really do. I like Miami to take and send Atlanta back home. But the thing with Atlanta, when Trae Young's not hot, his teammates to pick him up, and they get the job done. I've seen it before. I know what Atlanta can do, but I think Miami will be a little bit too much for Atlanta. But I will say this in Miami, you're gonna have to get a little bit more help because when they go deep and get deeper into the playoffs, yeah, it's gonna look crazy for it's gonna get tough for Miami. But they're gonna send Atlanta home. They're gonna send them home.
And you know, sometimes the thing with me with Atlanta is that they live and die by the three because you know they got some guys that can shoot it from long range. You got Bogdanovich. I always pronounce his name wrong. Bogdanovich. You got Kevin Herter, and then you got Gallinari, and all those guys are dangerous from three. You know, they you know, and allow the team to space the floor. You know, they are good at creating. Those guys particularly are good at creating their own shot. You know, you can't leave those guys wide open from the perimeter because they'll make you pay. You know, and
they'll make you pay for sure.
They'll make you pay. They'll really pick you apart. And then Young's playmaking ability has helped Herter play arguably his best stretch of basketball since the season started. I mean, not Herter, Hunter. Hunter, another guy that's, you know, has really been amazing, you know. But the Hawks, man, I'm not going to sleep on them. And then you look on the other side who they played against, the Charlotte Hornets. Now, we all know who owns the Charlotte Hornets, right?
Yeah, Michael Jordan.
And Michael Jordan is not the greatest owner. No, he's not. He's not the greatest owner. I think he's listening to people within the organization. I think his organization, honestly, is run by analytics. I think, you know, he's listening to what other people is telling him to do, because let's be honest, man, they haven't really drafted well throughout the years, with the exception of LaMelo Ball. And, you know, Kemba Walker was a nice draft pick too, but always injured, couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah, he couldn't stay healthy for nothing.
Right. But other than that, their draft picks have been busts. You know, they haven't always made the smartest decisions, personnel wise, and I think that has kicked the Charlotte Hornets in the butt.
Yeah.
Then you sign a guy, you commit to a guy who can't stay healthy. That's Gordon Hayward. He can't stay healthy, and I think the Hornets also miss his veteran presence. But what the Hornets have over there, it's a nice little nucleus. I mean, you can't deny it. I mean, you got Miles Bridges, despite what he did yesterday.
That was crazy. Yeah,
that was crazy. Throwing his mouthpiece and it hit a girl in the face that was sitting in the stands.
That was crazy.
But you got a promising future with LaMelo Ball. The thing is, I don't know what his market would look like in Charlotte, and if he's that long-term fix for Charlotte, because Charlotte has a history of giving up on their young players, and that's why they haven't been able to put together winning seasons on a consistent level. But LaMelo Ball, man, he did score 28 points, right? He finished the game with 28 points.
He did good.
But most of those points came when their team was already down by 30 points. You know, the game turned into an absolute massacre. You know, but I like LaMelo Ball. I think he's on his way. He's a facilitator. You know, he gets his teammates actively involved. You know, he's a great distributor. He's a playmaker. He's an incredible scorer. He finds open shots. You know, he makes the right reads. And you know, he likes to get out in transition. And of course, he's a flashy name. He's a Ball brother. He's the best out of the brothers. And you know, he's a highlight reel every night, it seems. And that's something Charlotte needed. They needed a guy that can give you highlight reels, and he can do that because Charlotte didn't have that superstar player. So I do think Charlotte is on to something. I don't know how long it's going to take for them to get there. It's not going to be easy in the Eastern Conference because you got other teams that's more equipped to win now. You got teams that's far better than you. You know, I'm just going to keep it real because it is what it is. But the Charlotte Hornets, man, I feel like they have some great players. PJ Washington's another one. You know, you got some guys over there that can play ball, and we can't ignore that. You know.
No. I tell you one thing. That ball guy, he could pass that. He could pass that rock like nobody's. It wasn't a game. I can't think of the game. Man, he passed the ball like nobody's business. And you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Jason White Chocolate Williams. I was like, oh man, the way he passed that ball. But Charlotte, the ownership. I think Michael Jordan gotta get him some help. You gotta get him somebody that his game is more compatible with. You know, not to get off topic, but what the Russell and LeBron James game does not meld together. So you have to find somebody that has the same game or something, because that was a house in LA. Same for Charlotte. You know, you have to find somebody that has compatible game with, I can't say his name. What's his name? Oh man, I can think of his name already. I lost his first name. But LaMelo, LaMelo
Ball.
Yeah. You gotta find somebody compatible to him. Just like with LeBron James, you got to find somebody. And I said it, and I said it, and I said it again. If you want to get LeBron James some help, go get Damian Lillard. Go get Derrick Rose. When you got Russell Westbrook, the first thing I said, they're gonna throw it all on the head coach. That's LeBron James who wanted to build that roster. You know, you got to get somebody that's gonna take care of the ball. Derrick Rose. You
What's up,
know,
Iverson Voggs?
yeah,
Thanks for tuning in, brother. We appreciate it.
yeah. That's
He's
my knowledge
he's right
on.
though.
Yeah, he's correct.
Yeah, that's a true statement. Absolutely. That's hey, I 100% agree with that statement there. You know what? Since we're on the Lakers topic right now, since you brought up LeBron James and you made him a topic of discussion,
Oh man.
we're gonna talk about Frank Vogel because you know a lot of people are saying that he was, I keep hearing it that he was made a good scapegoat for everything that had gone wrong with the Los Angeles Lakers. He spent all season putting so much of, the criticism he received behind him. And I just felt like Frank Vogel was no longer that voice and that the
No.
Lakers desperately needed to make a change if they wanted to reverse their fortunes. And I'm glad that, they decided that it was time to move on from Frank Vogel. Because look, my friend, I'm going to tell you like this. Frank Vogel clearly lost that locker room. He clearly lost the locker room. Those players quit on him, and this Laker team was just an absolute mess. I mean, the nightmare of a season, of a
Horrible.
season's worth of injuries, losses, and inconsistencies just highlighted the terrible state of this franchise, really, to tell you the truth, And so it was definitely time for a change, but the Lakers are going to have to find a coach that, can restore the culture. They're going to have to find a coach that they can't commit to for so many years. I'm tired of them hiring someone, then firing someone, hiring someone, then firing someone. And GD Bus, please take control of your franchise.
Oh, please do. Please do.
Stop allowing other people to tell you how to run your franchise. What the hell is Kurt Rambis doing and his wife doing having any personnel decisions?
They shouldn't have done.
Personnel decision. That's to me, that's just silly. It's absolute silliness.
You know who the head coach should be in LA. As soon as Frank got fired, I was at work when I heard the news. I got excited. I said, "Oh no, I know who can help the LA Lakers." Mark Jackson name was the first name came into my noggin. I said, "You gotta give Mark Jackson a call because he's a hell of a coach. He's a hell of a coach. Even LeBron James wants him, but you need to hire Mark Jackson. Nick Nurse, he's not gonna do the job. They're gonna run over him. You got to get somebody that's stern, is not a yes man, and Mark Jackson is that guy. All because of his religious beliefs, he got blackballed out the league. Just for that,
Right.
let the man come back. Don't get Doc Rivers, because you get Doc Rivers, they're gonna run over him too. You got Mark Jackson. Call him up right now. Hire that man on the spot and get the Lakers back to where they used to be. Before I let you, I know I get excited, but again, I was asked that question today at work. Who do you think the Lakers should hire? Who do you think can bring the Lakers back to the championship form? I said Mark Jackson. He's the man for the job. And look at this too. I also said this too. And now you may not agree with me. Laker fans may not agree with me, but listen, somebody gotta go. Somebody gotta go. You can get rid of AD. He's injury prone. He's injury prone. You blow on him, he's gonna hurt. He's gonna get hurt. Russell Westbrook, he can leave. He can go. He can go. Now, what's it doing with LeBron James? Do you open? Do you just want to start all over and rebuild? What do the Lakers really?
Exactly. And coming from a Laker fan, and I'm gonna try to be unbiased here as I talk about this, but coming from a diehard Laker fan and someone that's covers the team periodically and that's around the team a lot, I will say this, that it starts in the front office. For one, I don't think Rob Pelinka is that guy. You might have heard me say that before, that Rob Pelinka is not qualified to be a general manager.
Yeah, you
It's
said that.
because he knew Kobe Bryant and he represented him as an agent. But being an agent and being a general manager are two different things. You might be good at representing an NBA star, but that doesn't mean you know how to assemble an NBA franchise. That doesn't mean that you know how to build an NBA franchise. And the Lakers, to me, they need a more established general manager, someone who's qualified, someone who knows what the hell he's doing. Because obviously Rob Pelinka, man, this season was a disaster,
It was
and I mean it was a mess. And so it starts in the front office. Again, like I said last week, Jeannie needs to put her foot down. She needs to let everyone know who's boss around that organization, and tell them, no, this is how it's gonna be. This is what I expect. These are my expectations, and if we're gonna win, we got to do it this way. You can't have a bunch of people whispering in your ear, telling you, no, you do it this way, no, you do it that way, no, you do it this way. As far as I'm concerned, you as the owner need to be the voice of your own franchise and hire a general manager that's going to come in and do the job the correct way. Rob Pelinka is no longer that guy. I'm not too sure he ever was that guy, because look, Magic Johnson, when he was the president of operations there, that's when LeBron came. That happened under his watch. And Rob Pelinka was, of course, the guy, under Magic, but still, I mean, come on. Jeannie, take control of your franchise and get this team back to winning basketball, and so hopefully this team can return to glory, but until then, it's not, and I'm with you. I think Mark Jackson is that next guy. He should be anyway. I think he's deserving of a second chance. I think you saw what he did in Golden State with the Warriors. He built that foundation that we see now in Golden State, and Steve Kerr, of course, has taken over and he's sustained that. But still, that was Mark Jackson's work. Mark Jackson was the architect, behind that Warriors team that it is now. He has charisma. He knows how to lead. And I think he has, the credentials to be a head coach. And I think the Lakers, that should be their number one option, is going after someone like Mark Jackson. Look, Mark Jackson is not going to take crap from anyone. He's not going to He's not going to put up with the nonsense, And if LeBron thinks he's going to pull a good one over on him, and if LeBron thinks he's going to tell Mark Jackson how to run his team and who to draft or who to sign in a trade or who to acquire, it's not going down like that, because Mark Jackson doesn't roll like that. Mark Jackson is going to do it his way. And we heard that he had problems with the front office in Golden State. So what does that tell you? That tells you that he's stern, and and he's gonna make sure that he gets the best out of his players. That's another thing that Mark
Yeah.
Jackson's going to do, you know, and he's going to make sure they play on both ends of the floor, not just one end of the floor, both ends of
You
the
got
floor.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've seen somebody say Jeff Van Gundy. No.
No,
I
I thought that too. I said Jeff Van Gundy was a great candidate as well. But when you look at Mark Jackson's credentials and his winning record as a head coach, he's definitely one guy to consider. You know, I thought at first Kenny Atkinson could have been the guy to replace Frank Vogel. Nick Nurse is going to be another yes man. You know, he'll do anything that LeBron tells him to do. He'll probably bow down to the king. You know, he'll definitely bow down to the king. And you know, it'll be Frank Vogel 2.0 if they hire Nick Nurse. So no, and I don't think Nick Nurse wants that headache. I think Nick Nurse is fine where he's at. I think he really
right where you at.
He wants to stay with the Toronto Raptors. They got something good happening over there. If he comes to LA, he's walking into a dumpster fire. And it seems to be a stressful job for a lot of coaches anyway.
Yeah,
and
you don't want.
And then you heard Quinn Snyder. Quinn Snyder pulled out of the sweepstakes. Didn't he pull out?
I think he did.
Yeah, he pulled out as a candidate because he said that he didn't like the way, according to reports from what I read, he didn't like the way they handled Frank Vogel's firing. So, I mean, I think he's going to stay in Utah.
Now, how did the Lakers fire Frank Vogel again? Because when I got the news, they didn't really say how he got fired. They just said I don't know. I forgot how they said how it went down. So, I know some people I think somebody said about social media. Somebody found it on social media or something first. No.
And see, that should never happen. You know, if you're going to do things professionally, you know, handle it professionally behind closed doors. Call the man into the office. Talk to him one-on-one behind closed doors. Tell him this is your final day on the job, that we have decided to move on, and that we are looking into a new direction, and that we are looking for a new head coach. But thank you for everything that you've done during your time here. And let's not forget, Frank Vogel did guide this team to an NBA championship. There's 17 NBA championship. Now, I know it was in a pandemic year. I know they played in the bubble and all that, you know, but people are going to take it whichever way they want to take it. You know, it's still considered a championship.
Yeah, a championship is a championship.
Yeah, championship is a championship. So the Lakers won it that year. Frank Vogel gets the credit for leading the team to a championship. And then, you know, unfortunately, 2 years later, you know, you get fired, you know, because the Lakers have certain standards that they set.
Yeah.
But yet the roster, you can make the argument that the roster wasn't as great either. The roster was terrible too, you know, because all you really had was a bunch of big name players on one team. You know, and some nights I felt like I was watching a pickup basketball game and not an NBA game. You know, I mean, it was terrible.
It was horrible. It was horrible.
Yes, beyond horrible. But I wanted to get your input on it because everyone's been talking about it. And I knew you had a lot to say about it. You know, you want to say any more stuff about the Lakers? Is there anything else on your mind?
Well, you know, I will say this. I am a New York Knicks fan, Detroit Pistons fan. So I will say this. It does have to start at the top with the front office. It has to. You know, the Lakers front office, I've never seen, because I've been watching basketball for a long time. I remember when the Lakers in the Western form. So that tells you I've been watching basketball for a long time. I've never seen that front office like this. I've never seen it this bad. I mean, if you gotta let people go, start letting people go. You know, then you get to the coach, then you get to the players. If they don't want to be there, they don't want to hustle and play hard, Tell them to kick rocks. Same thing for New York. I don't want to go to the Lakers, but I got to talk about my Knicks for a minute. I love my New York Knicks, but let
Go
me
for
tell
it.
you something. It
Let me hear
starts.
it.
It starts at the top. If Randall don't want to be there, he want to get a little attitude. Ship him out of there. We got RJ Barrett. We got RJ Barrett. You got loyal fans. You play in the New York. It's the mecca of basketball. You know, when you're a kid, you're going to be playing basketball. What's the first thing come out the child's mouth? They want to play where? In New York, L.A., Miami, Boston. Because New York is where it's at. So New York has to find a way to get better. Because in the beginning of the season, where was New York? They was going between 1 and 2 against Chicago. I said, look at New York. Look at New York. And all of a sudden, they just started to drop, drop, drop. And where that comes from, it comes from the top, the coaches, and the players. The players got to play. Don't want to play, tell them to kick rocks. But I will say this, my Knicks got to get better. My Pistons, oh, man, I don't know what to say, man. We stink. We stink. We stink and destroy. Nobody,
And they
nobody like
got a new arena a few years ago too,
that.
and they
And it's beautiful, man. We got a great rookie, but it's just a big miss in Detroit. So hopefully the Knicks and the Lakers can turn it around. But again, it all starts at the front office. If the people don't want to do right, you got to get rid of them. You just got to. That's all I got to say about it.
let's talk about this series that's about to get underway this weekend in the
Uh,
NBA playoffs, man. This is gonna be box office. And I'm excited for this series. And it happens to be two East Coast teams, two teams um that are, I guess you can say two of the top most watched teams, most liked teams in the Eastern Conference. But let me get to the point. And let me just say this. It's the Celtics versus the Brooklyn Nets. They're going to
mm,
meet once again in the playoffs. You got the Celtics, a very hot team, taking on a very stacked team in the Brooklyn Nets. You got Jason Tatum wearing green, and then you got Kevin Durant wearing black.
uh-huh.
Oh man, I can't wait. I think this is a series that I'm anxious to see. This is a series that I really want to tune in to. I'm so
Yeah.
excited for it. When Kyrie Irving is laser focused, and when he's playing at 100%, you can't stop him. He's one of the best point guards in the league.
Yeah.
You have to give it to him. He's one of the best point guards in the league. I mean, the guy can do everything. He has great ball handling skills. He could slash traffic. Get his way to get to the basket. He could finish strong at the basket. He's an incredible facilitator. It was just with him. Everyone was talking about this vaccination stuff, and everyone was making a big deal about him not wanting to get the vaccine, and I'm not trying to turn this into anything political because it's
Oh
not
no,
about that.
no.
But you know what? The boy can ball. He can ball. He can flat out play. And this Brooklyn Nets team, man, they had an up and down season, but they don't just have KD and they don't just have Kyrie Irving. They got other guys that can shoot too. They got Patty Mills. I mean, you got guys that can shoot. I don't know if Joe Harris is back. Joe Harris back yet?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
But they got guys that can light it up too, and they got guys that can score. But Kevin Durant, man, I don't know if anybody can stop him if he's gonna continue to play at this rate. Because he's been putting up some numbers. Some big numbers, and man.
I tell you what, it's gonna be a great series. It's gonna go to 7, but I will say this. You may agree or you may not. The fans may agree or they may not. First and foremost, I hate Boston. I want to put it out there. I don't like nothing Boston related. But I I will say this, you know, if Brooklyn don't get to the finals, I'm gonna say it before I say it. I love Brooklyn. I love everything about New York. But if Brooklyn don't get to the finals, it's gonna be some problems in Brooklyn because it's no reason that Brooklyn shouldn't get to the finals. You got two of the greatest players in the NBA. You got two great superstars. It shouldn't be no reason why Brooklyn shouldn't have won. Was it last year, or the year before? So the Nets, this is their year. They have to get over the hump. They
Mhm.
have to get over the hump. But Boston you gotta be aware of Jason Tatum. That man is dangerous. He is electrifying. If he get loose against Brooklyn, it's gonna be a long day for Brooklyn. One of the first two games that is in Brooklyn or Boston?
I believe it's him. Who has the better record?
I think Boston does. If it's in Boston, I'm going to tell you. If y'all never been, I know I hate Boston, but I had to go to a game. Listen, playoff time,
Oh, the
that
Garden, man. Yeah, it's
the
electric.
Garden can get crazy, man. Those
Yeah,
fans are going to show up, and they're going to rock that place. So Brooklyn better be ready because Jason Tatum, once that man gets hot, he's on fire. You can't stop him. Same with Durant. When he's hot, you can't stop him. Kyrie Irving, you can't stop him.
I'm just
So,
waiting for Ben Simmons to play a damn game. That's what I'm
oh,
waiting.
oh, Ben Simmons, I think he can make an impact. I really do. He had the fresh start. If he plays, he's gonna. I don't know if he's gonna play a lot of minutes. They might just squeeze him in, but he can make an impact. He got a new start. It's fresh start all over. I don't care what he did in Philadelphia. That's gone under the water. That's dead. But you're in Brooklyn now. Get there, play, show him what you got. He's still to me. He's a star. He's a star. I don't care what nobody says. He's still a star. So he's gonna have to get to Brooklyn, show them, hey, you still got it, and kick some butt. But it's gonna be a hard series. Boston is not going to give it to Brooklyn. Brooklyn's going to have to take it from Boston.
I agree. And it's really hard to evaluate this Nets team because they haven't had all three of their players healthy all year.
Mhm.
At the same time, they've dealt with health issues, safety protocol issues with COVID. All that has had a negative effect on the team. So we really haven't seen them at their full strength. And now we might be able to once Ben Simmons comes
Yeah,
back.
we're gonna see it.
It's looking good. It's looking as if Ben Simmons could come back in Game 4, according to what I heard. He's he's starting to work out.
Yeah, they're
Get
going
look
to.
get his body ready to possibly make that return.
Yeah,
But we'll see. Like I said, I think it's gonna be a great series. If Brooklyn lose, man, it's gonna be. They're gonna be the subject of memes. They're gonna be, people gonna be blowing up about it, talking negative about them, talking bad about them, how they choked, how this team was a bust. I could just hear all the negativity right
yeah.
now about that team if they do lose.
I'm going to be the first one. I'm going to be the first one because if Brooklyn don't get it done, but look, my yeah, I know we're still on this one, but look, my son asked me, Dad. He said, how old are you when Brooklyn was in Brooklyn no more? He said how he said so. I said, listen. I said I'm old enough. I said they was in New Jersey, and I said that's how old I am. Watching them play in New Jersey, and and they go to Brooklyn and Seattle and all that stuff. Oh man, he asked me all kinds of great questions. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to ask Jonathan. Yeah, I'm an old man. The Supersonics was in Seattle, but that's another topic for another day. But
Oh yeah, we could. Hey, we
it's
could
gonna be
possibly do some NBA. We could do some. We could be some NBA historians and really get down to
oh
it.
man, I just feel old man because I was like, man, I remember those years when Houston played in the old stadium they had. It's like
Yep. The
I feel,
Astrodome and all
yeah, I
those
feel
things.
pretty old, man.
Me too. I feel pretty old too. Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna switch over to baseball real quick
Let's
since
go.
we have about 10 minutes left. So we're gonna switch over to baseball. We're gonna talk about the Dodgers. We're gonna talk about the Dodgers. I'm in Southern California. I can't help it. It's in my DNA.
That's right.
It's it's part of the game. It's part of the game to keep up with what's going on in LA. But Clayton Kershaw. Okay, the Dodgers had an afternoon game yesterday in Minnesota, and Kershaw made his debut, and he was stupendous. And we all know what's on his resume, right? We all know what he has accomplished throughout the course of his career. Kershaw has won 3 National League Cy Young Awards, won NL Most Valuable Player Award, and a World Series. Okay, but one thing he has never done, and that is not on his resume, is a no hitter. I'm sorry, he has thrown a no hitter, and Capel, he has thrown a no hitter. But he has never thrown a perfect game. That's what I mean to say. He has never thrown a perfect game. He has thrown a no-hitter. That was against Colorado. It was some years back, but I remember that game now. My mistake. But he has never thrown a perfect game, and his best chance at accomplishing that extraordinary feat disappeared thanks to the circumstances, including a manager's decision. And Dave Roberts, decided to pull him from the game. And it was only after throwing 80 pitches that Dave Roberts decided to pull him from the game. But see, what a lot of Dodger fans don't realize, because they wanted to see history being made, right? And most sports fans want to see history being made. But what a lot of fans don't realize is that the Dodgers are a very analytical ball club. They rely heavily on analytics, and because of that, he was not able to throw a perfecto. Kershaw wasn't. Kershaw was pulled from the game. People were angry. They said that Dave Roberts should have kept him in the game. But then when you look at his age and when you look at the recent injury history, in fairness, you can say that Dave Roberts might have made the right decision to pull him. And what if he didn't pull him and he started giving up hits? I get it. The game was 7. It was basically out of reach, though. The game was pretty much over. The Dodgers had a big lead. They hit back-to-back home runs on the afternoon. So the game was pretty much over. So I don't think that was the big thing. But it was more of anything. It was his health and his age, in which Dave Roberts decided to pull him from the game. So more than anything, to me, it was about protecting his star pitcher.
Yeah. You gotta protect your players, man. The fans, the stand, man. You gotta save this man for the games that count. You don't want to wear him out so early in the season. So let's just say they make the World Series, they make the playoffs, World Series. Oh, you got your ace, you got your star guy right there with a strong arm, and a great arm. You don't want to wear him out. You don't want to do that. Of course, the fans are going to have something to say about it, but they don't understand. You gotta protect your players. That's all it comes down to. All he did was he did the right thing. I say, he did the wrong thing. Oh, well, hey, you're not a coach. You don't know. He did the right thing. I'm a Yankees fan. Of course, I would. Well, I'm glad he did. You don't want to wear him out. Don't wear out your players so early in the season, and then when you get to the game where you need him, he's wore out. You don't want to get Tommy John surgery. You don't want that.
And I think the Dodgers and Dave Roberts learned their lesson from last year, because their pitchers suffered from fatigue. Their arms were worn down last year. If you saw them against the Braves, and that was a big problem for the Dodgers in that series. So, Dave Roberts, probably made a smart decision by.
Oh, he did. He did.
From the game, even though he threw 80 pitches and he was working on a perfect game, you know.
Oh man, he did the right thing. He did the right thing. Don't wear him out. Don't wear him out.
That's right. That's right. Speaking of the Dodgers, they about to play at 7:10. It's almost that time, man. It's almost time to wrap up the show. Hey, you know what? I want to thank you for coming on, Big Shaw. I want to thank you for being a special guest on my second episode. This is the second episode of Speaking with Judgment. So I want to thank you for being the second guest. Freddie was the
no
first.
problem.
You're
No
the second
problem.
guest. So I really appreciate it. You know, we're gonna be wrapping it up in a minute here. But any last words before we do? And please also, if you have any last words, tell the people where they can find you and where you do your thing.
Well, I will say this. You know, time ran out. I will say this: Go Yankees! Go Yankees! Go Yankees! And you know, you can find me on Facebook. You know, Big Shaw Sports Podcast. But I'm trying to find another home to bring my podcast back. And I've been thinking about ASAP for a long time. I said, oh, should I go back home? Should I go back? So, you know, Freddie is doing a great thing. You know, we had a little rumblings, kind of big brother, little brother thing, like that, man. But he's a good guy. He's doing a very good job. But again, man, we had a little up and down, but it's just great, man, to see everybody doing their podcast thing and all that. But y'all doing a very good job. You can find me anywhere because I do a show every now and then. I know I'm slacking. I had a fan from Florida the other day told me, "Oh, Big Shaw, you're slacking. You used to be on almost every day. I used to get tired of seeing your face, but you just need to start throwing on more often." Well, I'm going to try. But I will say this, man. The Toronto Blue Jays, that guy's good. What's his name? Yeah. Hey, that man,
Burrell, senior son.
Junior. Hey, he's gonna be. I don't want to say it, but he's gonna be better than his dad.
Yeah, he is. He might be the next face of baseball.
If he's not the face of baseball, then I don't know who is. This man is phenomenal, man.
Yeah, he is. 3 home runs in last night's game against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. It even has New York talking. I mean, that's how phenomenal he's been.
If you get New York talking, you're doing something pretty good.
I know it's early, but he did say he was going to give us a movie. He said last year was the what did he say? How did he say it? He said last year was the preview or something like that. And
this is the movie.
Is the movie. So
yeah.
I mean, hey, the movie has started and we are all watching what should be a thrilling film for sure.
Oh man, he's phenomenal. He is really good. I don't watch baseball every day. I tell you what, I watch him every time the Blue Jays on TV or the Dodgers or the Braves or my Yankees.
Yeah,
I gotta sit there and watch.
Right? Yeah, I feel you on that one. But man, thank you for coming on and taking your time. And I want to thank all our viewers out there because without you guys, none of this is possible. So I thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I want to thank ASAP Network for also giving me this opportunity to use this platform to share my voice with the world. It's awesome. It's great. We're doing great things over here. You guys can catch me once again next Thursday, every Thursday, for another episode of Speaking with Judgment. Take care. You guys have a great week.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentations, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation.